This is Paul.
And this is Rabbi Doug.
Stay tuned
for Taped with Rabbi Doug next.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're gonna watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug. Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. Glad you could be with us today. My guest today is Steve Justman. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rabbi Doug.
Glad to have you with us.
Pleasure to be here.
I met Steve when he was playing one night with a bunch of friends, some friends who've been on the show before, actually. And Steve, you're an amazing guitar player. I just want to give a little information about you. You've been performing folk and Americana music in the Chicago area for many years. You are a true folk singer and consider yourself one. A throwback to a different era, singing popular folk music that people know, and you focus on strictly an audience's entertainment. You like to entertain.
That's right, very much.
You've performed and entertained many folk and acoustic venues in the Chicago area. You've played in many restaurants and clubs. You performed on TV and radio. You've been on Rick Cogan's Sunday Paper show and public radio as well. You're available and perform all over the place, don't you?
Well, pretty much all over the Chicago area.
And do you have a favorite artist, somebody like you who plays folk music? Is there somebody out there who you say, you know, if I was world famous, I'd like to be like?
Well, I guess I have to say from my influences, okay? I started off playing when I was 12, and at that time, there was a lot of popular folk music that was a big influence for me, like the Kingston Trio.
You know, the Kingston Trio, when I was growing up, actually, when I was young, my parents were into the Kingston Trio. So that was really the first folk music that I really knew.
I hope I'm not as old as your parents. But
No, not quite. But that's how I knew the Kingston Trio.
Right. At that time, folk music was very popular, and I literally learned to play by playing along with their records and a few others. Also, as far as some of the country stuff that I do, I guess people like Waylon Jennings were an influence. Buck Owens was an influence for me. People back from the 60s.
Well, we'd love to hear you play. What are you going to start with?
I'm going to start with a song that was written by a great folk music artist. He's still around today, named Tom Paxton.
Oh, Tom Paxton, okay, well-known
exactly.
person.
And the song is called "I Can't Help But Wonder."
Can't help but wonder. This is Steve Justman on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
It's a long and a dusty road. It's a hard and heavy load. And the folks that I meet ain't always kind. Some are bad, some are good. Some have done the best they could. Some have tried to ease my troubling mind. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. I have been around this land just doing the best I can, trying to find what I was meant to do. And the faces that I see are as worried as can be. Looks like they're wandering too. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. I have a buddy way back home, but he started out to roam. And I hear he's out by Frisco Bay. And sometimes when I've had a few, his voice comes singing through. And I'm going out to see him some old day. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. you see me passing by, and you sit and you wonder why, and you wish that you were a rambler too. Nail your shoes to the kitchen floor, lace them up and bar the door, and thank the stars for the roof that's over you. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound. And I can't help but wonder where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Can't help but wonder where I'm bound.
It was great, Steve.
Thank you. It's good to do those old songs.
I know you play guitar and you play banjo. Do you play any other instruments?
I also play the bass.
You also play the bass.
Yeah, but it doesn't work when you do a solo.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
How long? So you picked up a guitar at 12. When did you pick up a banjo?
Probably about 6 months to a year later.
Really?
Right.
Obviously, banjo is a completely different instrument to play. The whole chord structure is different.
Well,
how do you do that at a young age like that and not get confused?
Actually, it's close. I mean, on a 5-string banjo, first of all, out of the 5 strings, there's one you never play. That's the 5th string, so you got 20% of it licked. And then 3 of the other 4, if you tune it to open G, are tuned like a guitar. So you got to learn the chords just a little differently. The whole thing, though, is in the right hand when you're doing some finger picking.
Sure.
Trying to get the melody and a little different technique.
Did you take music lessons? Did you learn to read music when you were young also?
As the old saying goes, not enough to hurt my playing. Okay, but yeah, I did take some music lessons. I did learn some music theory at first for a good year.
Good thing to do. Well, Steve Justman, what's your next song for us?
The next song, I had mentioned San Francisco in that one. This is an old folk tune that I learned from actually learned it from a local folk artist named Joe Mapes, who's still living in the Chicago area. I think she lives in Deerfield. And I correspond with her just a little bit here and there. Song called the San Francisco Bay Blues.
Well, she's going to look forward to hearing her name on the show.
I always give her credit.
Here you go. This is Steve Justman on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
I got the blues when my baby left me by the San Francisco Bay. Well, she lied and I care so far away. Didn't mean to treat her so bad. She was the best gal ever had. Said goodbye, made me cry. Gonna lay right down and die. Well, I ain't got a nickel, I ain't got a lousy dime. If she don't come back, think I'm gonna lose my mind. If she ever comes back to stay, it's gonna be another brand new day. Well, I'm walking with my baby by the San Francisco Bay. Sitting here looking through my back door, just wondering which way to go. Girl that I'm so crazy about, she don't want me anymore. Guess I catch me a freight train, 'cause I'm feeling kind of blue. Well, I'll ride all the way to the end of the line, thinking only of you. Meanwhile, in another city, just about to go insane. Thought I heard my baby call, where she calls my name. If she ever comes back to stay, it's gonna be another brand new day. Well, I'm walking with my baby by the San Francisco Bay. Here we go. Well, meanwhile in another city, just about to go insane. Thought I heard my baby call, the way she calls my name. If she ever comes back to stay, it's gonna be another brand new day. Well, I'm walking
That was great. That was great.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite type of music that you listen to when you put a CD or a cassette or whatever you listen to? Do you put on certain records that you like to hear?
Yes, I do. I guess I've been partial to what I call classic country music. That type of music, country, has really changed over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big time. And I don't know. I'm looking for the more traditional sounds. Give me something with some steel guitars and some good lyrics, some nice full band sound.
So what was the last CD you put in? Who was it?
The last CD?
Or song?
The Forgotten Tapes of Hank Williams.
Hank Williams.
Yeah, they just issued that. Discovered some old acetates that were going to be thrown out, and they realized somebody rescued them, and they put this big box CD out
Very nice.
last fall.
Very nice. What are we going to hear next from you?
Well, I thought I would do one great old folk tune by what they call a modern-day classic. Of course, we had a great folk singer here in Chicago by the name of Steve Goodman.
I'm a big fan. I used to go and watch
his music
him when he was
has really
alive.
lived on. And probably his most famous song is this one here.
All right.
Maybe, arguably, the greatest train song ever written.
All right. This is a Steve Goodman song by Steve Justman right here on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
City of New Orleans. Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central Monday morning rail. 15 cars, 15 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, train rolls out of Kankakee, rolls along past houses, farms and fields. Passing trains have no name, freight yards full of old black men, and the graveyards rusted automobiles. Good morning, America, how are ya? Well, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call City of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Dealing card games with the old men in the club car. Penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag, holds the bottle. Feel the wheels rumbling beneath the floor. And the sons of Pullman porters and the sons of engineers, they ride the father's magic carpets made of steel. Mothers with their babes asleep, rocking to the gentle beat, and the rhythm of the rails is all they feel. Good morning, America, how are ya? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call City of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Nighttime on the City of New Orleans, changing cars in Memphis, Tennessee. Halfway home, we'll be there by morning. Through the Mississippi darkness, rolling down to the sea. All the towns, people seem to fade into a bad dream. Steel rail, still ain't heard the news. The conductor sings his songs again. The passengers will please refrain. This train's got the disappearing railroad blues. Good night, America, how
you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call City of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles, day is done.
One of my favorite all-time folk songs, and I would love to hear a song on banjo. Can we do one on banjo?
We sure can.
All right.
Bear with me a moment here.
That's okay. We'll get you ready here. This is Steve Justman. You're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug, and Steve is now going to play.
Let's do the old Pete Seeger Weavers tune. Song everybody knows. Irene, good night.
And good night, Irene.
Somehow. Hold on. There we go.
All right, here we go.
Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. Gonna take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop your rabbling, stop your gabbling, staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and family, sit down by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. All right.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Good morning, Steve.
There we go.
Hey,
All right.
love the banjo sound.
Yeah.
You like playing guitar with a band more, or you like to play with the banjo more with a band?
It depends on the band. Okay, sometimes I'll play a little bluegrass and play a little banjo in the bluegrass band. And, it all depends. If there's another banjo player there, I'll pick up the guitar.
Cool. All right, what's next? We want to hear more music from you, Steve.
Okay. I'm going to do a song that is a nice little story song. You don't hear too many story songs anymore.
No, you don't. Kind of Pete Seeger does a lot of stories like songs. Who's this by?
This was co-written by Vince Gill and Guy Clark.
Okay.
Story about a little girl and her love of trains.
Steve Justman on Taped.
Jenny was a little girl, only dreamed of trains, never played with dolls, lacy kinds of things. Jenny counted boxcars instead of counting sheep. She could go anywhere when she went to sleep. All she ever talked about was getting on to ride. She lived in a different time, you could see it in her eyes. Each day after school she'd head on down the track, waiting for the train that's never coming back. Jenny dreamed of trains when the night time came. Nobody knew how she made it come true. Jenny dreamed of trains. Depot's been boarded up, rails have turned to rust. Hasn't been a train through here since the mill went bust. No one believed her when she said she heard a train. Jenny's just a little girl acting kinda strange. Jenny dreamed of trains when the night time came. Nobody knew how she made it come true. Jenny dreamed of trains. So Jenny laid a penny on the track one day. In God we trust. Then she walked away. Very next morning, all she could find was a little piece of copper, squashed flatter than a dime. Jenny dreamed of trains when the night time came. Nobody knew how she made it come true. Jenny dreamed of trains. Nobody knew how she made it come true. Jenny dreamed of trains. Little train music.
I gotta tell you, I don't know that song, but it's already in my head.
Yeah,
kind of
it's
catchy.
a great story, I know, to it, and nice little tune.
So I mentioned Pete Seeger. Who are the storyteller folk artists that are still out there performing?
Gordon Lightfoot is still out there.
Gordon
yeah,
Lightfoot?
He was very sick for a while, but he's bounced back, and he's out there performing.
Did you ever play any of his stuff?
I do Early Morning Rain, which was a good one.
Who else?
And Tom Paxton, as we
Tom
mentioned
Paxton,
before, is still out there doing story songs, and there's still quite a few more.
Very nice.
Even the old Chad Mitchell Trio is still out there
Wow,
singing, the original
wow.
guys.
So when you started playing, did you start doing like the pop stuff, like the Kingston Trio stuff that was popular at that time?
Definitely, like
was
Tom Dooley and the MTA and
Oh, gosh.
and all those Where Have All the Flowers Gone,
Cool.
all through junior high and high school. I played in folk groups and did all those old popular songs.
Wow.
People still like to hear them.
Yeah, they do. I think they do, and I think you're unique. I think people like who go out and hear folk music often hear kind of the same stuff. You kind of go back into the stuff that other people aren't playing anymore.
Exactly, and that's kind of what's helped differentiate me. I'm not a singer-songwriter. I consider myself a singer-performer. and kind of on a mission to try to keep a lot of old folk and country music alive, keep it heard. People still like to hear it, especially the ones who really remember it.
Great.
Younger people, too. For them, they're kind of hearing some of that stuff for the first time.
Well, Steve, I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
My
Let's
pleasure.
try and get a couple more. And you got a quick one we can do now?
Quick one. Yeah, let's do a great old country tune here. Get it all set up here.
This is Steve Justman on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
Just because I asked a friend about her, just because I spoke her name somewhere, just because I called her number by mistake today, she thinks I still care. Just because I haunt the same old places where the memories of her linger everywhere. Just because I'm not the happy guy I used to be, she thinks I still care. She thinks I still care.
That was very nice. Steve Justman, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Remember, you can check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also watch our show on the web, and you can also see Steve Justman playing on our show. If you want to email me, info@tvrabbi.com. If you want to email Steve, you can send me an email at info@tvrabbi.com, and I'll forward it to him, and I'm sure he'll get back to you. I want to thank you for being on the show. Finish
pleasure.
us off now, Steve, and we hope to have you back again sometime.
I hope to be back.
That'd
Thank
be
you
great.
very much, Rabbi
Once
Doug.
again, Steve Justman on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
How many times have you heard someone say, if I had his money, I could do things my way. Little they know that it's so hard to find one rich man in 10 satisfied mind. Once I was living in fortune and fame. I had all I needed to get a start in life's game. Suddenly it happened, I lost every dime. I'm richer by now with a satisfied mind. You know that money can't buy back your youth when you're old, or a friend when you're lonesome, or a love that's grown cold. Wealthiest person is a pauper at times compared to the man with a satisfied mind. When my life has ended, my time has run out. my friends and my loved ones, I'll leave, there's no doubt. But one thing's for certain, when it comes my time, I'll leave this old world with a satisfied mind. I'll leave this old world with a satisfied mind. I'll leave this old world with a satisfied mind. You know I'll leave this old world with a satisfied